And she very carefully called Harry my husband, which they always do in public. It drives me mad. They call each other my husband and my wife. And she very carefully called Harry my husband, which they always do in public. It drives me mad. They call each other my husband and my wife.
My wife. My wife. My wife. My wife. My wife. My wife. My wife. My wife and I. 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 Me and my wife. Me and my wife. Me and my wife. I'm so proud of my wife. My incredible wife. An amazing wife. I knew I had found a soulmate in my wife. Thank you, my love. The girl of my dreams. Mother to my children. The love of my life.
Morning friends, happy Thursday. How the heck you doing? I survived running club last night. It was touch and go at some points. It's so hot in the UK. The weather is brilliant. Loving it. Get to the point, Martin. Has this woman got zero shame? And I think the answer is yes, because her friendship relationship with Hazza was literally decades ago. She's now married with a husband, 3 children. Why is she dragging this stuff up from the past? Well, she's dragging this stuff up from the past because now Harry is going to be a perpetual target for the Daily Mail just because of the freaking court case. She's talking about the past, snogging, Harry putting a pill on her tongue. The pill could have been anything. It could have been a Tic Tac. If you're not from the UK, a Tic Tac is like a piece of candy, a sweet. Totally innocuous. That's a big word for a Thursday. This is a blatant attempt by the Daily Mail to get more readers, to get more clicks, to get more advertising revenue, because as we know, their financial situation, both digitally and in print, is in an absolute mess. Harry's moved on, met the love of his life, new relationship, not a new relationship, a new marriage, a new country, new business ventures, new friends, new positive stuff. The old stuff is Invictus. Not this woman here.
Charlotte Griffiths is an editor-at-large for the Daily Mail and has written a massive propaganda piece in an attempt to villainize Harry and paint herself as just this sweet, innocent, poor little thing that has no autonomy and just happens to get lucky that she met a literal prince at a party thrown by a billionaire that she met in another country. Because she reveals the fact that I didn't know because I don't care about her, but apparently her father was in legacy media. He was like an editor of, I don't know what magazine, I already forgot, but like he ran an entire magazine by himself. So she had friends growing up. She was little friends with the prime minister's son. They were like the same age. She literally went to, what's it called over there where the prime minister lives? Number 12. Like she was literally just at that place hanging out. And she also paints herself as, you know, growing up so modestly and not very wealthy. So she's both friends with powerful people as a teenager, but also just this poor little innocent thing that doesn't understand the world. Like that's literally how she comes off. Another interesting thing to note, is the Daily Mail does this quite often, is that the pictures also tell the story that they want to sell you. And there are about 5 pictures of both of them, Harry and Charlotte Griffiths, separately. They've never had a picture together. But when it's Harry's pictures, they all look like this. Private, you know, parties he's attending where he's literally just hanging out with his friends. Those are all 5 pictures are different parties he was at, or the same party at different angles. Griffiths also has about 5 pictures in this article to break up her, you know, paragraphs. These are what hers look like. This is the theme of her pictures. She's very, you know, dressed to the nines. It looks like literal photo shoots that she's at. These are how she's represented in the article. Again, you know, upstanding, wonderful citizen that would never ever tell a lie. Except her first sentence is literally a lie. I can remember as if it were yesterday, the night I threw on a navy blue dress, grabbed a nerve-settling glass of champagne, and went downstairs to be introduced to Prince Harry for the very first time. This article, which is sourced from the Telegraph, I couldn't read the Telegraph article because paywalls, but she had to walk back where she actually met Prince Harry for the first time because she claimed it was in Ibiza. And Harry said he'd never been to Ibiza before he met his wife. And she claimed it was a typo. She wrote a statement before she had to testify. And she wrote, "We met in Ibiza." How is that a typo? So just to let you know, she is not a reliable narrator. Okay? No one that works for the Daily Mail is. The most sensational part of her article is close to the beginning. And the way she describes this interaction is weird because she leaves out a lot of context. So to set the scene, how she describes it, she is just sitting next to Prince Harry at a dinner table with like 20 other people. And he looks at her. He removes a small white pill, holds it up to her face, pops it onto her tongue, and says with a smile, "Now I know I can trust you." They are both 27 at the time, right? They have never met before. And she let a man, because she knew who he was, I guess, she opened her mouth and let him put a pill in her mouth. Who does that? Who does that is an innocent, wonderful, sweet, poor little girl who just so happens to have grown up in the laps of luxury with a father that had powerful connections. But here she is at this party thrown by a billionaire, surrounded by other aristocrats and, millionaires and billionaires and people connected to other very powerful people. And she's letting this guy that she only knows of publicly pop a pill into her mouth. And she doesn't say anything. She doesn't say hi. She doesn't be like, "What is this?" They don't introduce themselves. He just looks at her, pulls the pill out, pops it in her mouth. That is how she describes this interaction. Like I said, unreliable narrator. I'll make a part 2 probably.
Hold on to your hats, because the UK media machine is officially spiralling. Just yesterday, the tabloids took a massive smug victory lap because a corrupt judge handed down a ruling in that massive court battle. And right on cue, instead of acting like professional adults, they immediately weaponized the moment to start launching trash attacks at Prince Harry. Why? Because Harry is currently in the UK having a massive, incredibly successful Invictus trip, and the Palace PR machine absolutely cannot handle it. They needed a distraction, and they needed it fast. Enter Charlotte Griffiths, editor-at-large for the Mail on Sunday. This lady suddenly crawled out of the woodwork to drop a 24-carat platinum-grade hit piece about a dinner party from literally 15 years ago. She is out here crying to the public about Harry's wild party lifestyle from 2011, her big dramatic headline. She claims Harry placed a white pill on her tongue as a loyalty test. She dangles that phrase like total bait, so the internet trolls will assume the worst. But then tucked away in the actual text, she admits the pill was almost certainly just a paracetamol. A paracetamol! You are running a global smear campaign because a guy jokingly handed you a Tylenol at a house party in 2011. Are you serious right now? Then she tries to claim he substituted cocaine with creatine during his military service to dodge drug tests. First of all, creatine is what guys take at the gym to build muscle. Second of all, the math is completely not mathing. You're telling me this lady kept these deep, dark, horrifying secrets completely buried, but the second the newspaper she works for gets a court ruling, suddenly her memory perfectly clears up. She's acting like she's the victim because Harry's lawsuit made their old Facebook messages public, claiming she got tens of thousands of mean messages online. Look, nobody should be getting harassed, but let's keep it 100. You are the editor-at-large for a tabloid paper that makes millions by invading people's privacy and destroying lives every single day. You don't get to act shocked when the public calls out your hypocrisy. Regular people see exactly what this is. This is a bitter, coordinated hit job. They cannot stand the fact that Harry is on British soil right now, completely shining, visiting sick kids and building a global legacy with Invictus. Since they can't criticise the incredible work he's doing today, they have to dig up some messy, irrelevant gossip from 15 years ago to try and drag him down. It is desperate, it is transparent, and it is a total joke. Shut the machine down, leave the man alone, and let him continue doing real work. Here is the funniest part about this entire desperate media rollout. They are trying to expose a man who has already exposed himself. The math is totally not mathing. The tabloids are out here acting like they just uncovered the secret scrolls because Charlotte Griffiths wrote a whole essay about Harry being a wild party animal in 2011. They are treating a house party from 15 years ago like it's breaking investigative news. But hello, did they forget that Harry literally wrote a whole-ass memoir called Spare? Harry has already spent the last few years speaking extensively about every single chapter of his own life. He wrote a global bestseller detailing his grief, his rock-bottom moments, his massive mistakes, and his deep struggles with mental health. He went on global television interviews, bared his soul, and did massive mental health advocacy work, explaining exactly how traumatized and messy he was when he was younger. He already put all his own cards on the table. Regular people get how this works. If your boy already stands up at a party and admits, look, back in the day I was reckless, I drank too much and I made stupid decisions, you can't jump up 2 years later trying to look like a hero by shouting, breaking news, he was reckless at a party. Like, yeah, bro, we know. He told us himself. The shock value is completely gone. When someone is completely transparent and publicly open about their past, it completely changes the value of these new revelations. You cannot blackmail or shame a man with his past when he already owned up to it, healed from it, and moved on. So while the Mail on Sunday thinks they're dropping some massive bombshells to distract from his amazing Invictus trip, the street navel verdict is just a massive yawn. Harry already gave us the full story. He's a grown man, a dad, and a husband now doing real global service. Dragging up ancient party gossip doesn't hurt his legacy. It just makes the media look like that one bitter ex who can't stop scrolling through your 2011 Facebook photos. Move on.
Let's look at the absolute bottom line of this entire circus, because people always ask, why do Harry and Meghan still completely dominate the headlines? Years after stepping back, moving across the ocean, and building an entirely independent life, their names are still slapped across the front pages every single day. And look, I'm not just talking about the media being obsessed. Let's talk about the actual street-level economics of attention. The tabloids love to act like they are public servants, just reporting the news. But news organizations are businesses. They need clicks, they need views, and they need your attention to pay their bills. And guess who brings in the cash? Harry and Meghan. Whether an article is praising them for doing incredible charity work or running a completely unhinged hit piece trying to drag them down, it doesn't matter to the spreadsheet. Both sides generate massive public interest. Love them or hate them, when their names are in the title, people click. The audience demands dictates the editorial decisions, period. But let's look at the human side of this, because it's getting embarrassing. While Harry has moved on, married a loving wife, and is focused on his kids and global projects like Invictus, you have royal commentators out here completely spiraling. Like Rebecca English over at the Daily Mail. She's literally spent the last few months sitting in a courtroom, getting grilled on the witness stand about old emails, airline searches, and how her paper got private details about Harry's life from decades ago. It is a total embarrassment. Rebecca is out here married, living her own life, yet her entire professional existence is still tethered to tracking Prince Harry's every move like a full-time job. It's giving unhinged, obsessed ex-girlfriend energy on a global scale. Imagine your entire career relying on complaining about a guy who doesn't even live in your country anymore. Regular people see exactly how this machine operates. They keep Harry and Meghan central to royal reporting because without them, the rest of the family drama is just flat out boring. Harry is out here living his life, doing real service, and letting his actions do the talking. The media keeps printing his name because Harry equals dollar signs. It's time for the tabloids to get a new hobby, let the man be, and stop embarrassing themselves for clout. At the end of the day, the real headline isn't whatever garbage story the tabloids are trying to sell this week. The real story is the absolute glow-up and transformation of Prince Harry. Let's be real about the big picture. Whether people agree with every single move he has made over the years or not, you cannot deny his personal journey and the massive long-term impact he's making. Think about where he started versus where he is right now. The media wants to keep him trapped in 2011 because it suits their narrative. They want the messy, angry, traumatized young guy because that guy feeds the gossip machine. But Harry didn't stay stuck. He did the hard work. He focused on his personal growth, built a beautiful family life with a wife who loves and supports him, and completely changed his trajectory. Look at what he's actually building while the media is busy crying about the past. He created Invictus, a literal global movement that is actively saving veterans' lives. He's running Arkawell, funding real-world community projects. He's out here doing massive mental health advocacy, talking openly about trauma so regular people don't feel so alone in their struggles.
That is a massive, tangible blueprint of service. Short-term controversies have a shelf life. A tabloid hit piece is wrapping up tomorrow's fish and chips, but long-term achievements, those are permanent. You can't cancel the lives he's touched, and you can't erase the smile on a sick kid's face when Harry sits on the hospital floor to talk about Legos. Harry is out here playing the long game, living his purpose and moving forward. The media machine can keep spinning its wheels and living in the past all they want, but the street-level verdict is already in. Harry's long-term impact and his personal journey are part of a much broader, much bigger story that a petty headline could never touch. And that's a wrap, squaddies. Thanks for watching. I've been your host, Miles. If you enjoyed the video, smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay blessed and keep the good vibes rolling.